My name's Simone Slee. I'm an artist and I'm very fortunate to live and work on the lands of the Wurundjeri people in Naarm, Melbourne. I've got this fabulous work which I've been very spoiled, has been collected by the Geelong Gallery called Rocks Happy to Help, Hold Up, Hold Down. This particular work is a video of me in a rocky landscape, which is the landscape of at Dog Rocks at Mount Alexander on the lands of Dja Dja Wurrung on the way up to Kyneton, Castlemaine. And I'm caught between the rocks and I'm in a kind of perpendicular form where my head is balanced on a wooden band loop, and as I'm breathing and moving in that space, the band moves, and it's almost as if you can see gravity pushing me up and pushing me down in the negative space of the band. What I've always been interested in is the limits of material. When something gets to the point where it fails, or just that moment before it fails, and often there's a kind of tension when you experience that as a viewer, when you're looking at it. So you can see that in the glass here behind me, how glass is holding up the rocks. It's not what you'd expect. When I started developing this idea of this wooden band, I was thinking, how can you make wood, which is often quite, of course it moves and breathes, but it's often quite structural, where you've got lintels and columns, where it could be, by contrast, quite fluid and plastic. And of course, a lot of that was happening during the modernist period, where they were making bent wood chairs, for example. So I was just following that kind of principle. I always have a problem. With the work, because it's part of it is about the problem of what makes it stand up or not. At what point will it fail, just like the way I was talking about the materials before. But if you haven't got a problem in art, it's very difficult to be an artist, because that's the thing you're chasing as an artist. And what's important to me is not what I want to do with the problem, but to listen to the artwork, what it needs to be. And often I'll get a work to a certain point and it's not quite there yet, but I know there's something in there. And it's quite hard, because on a personal level you've got to hold your nerve, because you never know if it's going to work or not. It's always about being in this state of the unknown. So what I do in those situations, which is probably common to every artwork I make, or it happens, is I trial doing things in different ways, and I'll go back to that process of playing with lots of things. Often the work does things, and that's when I know an artwork's really working, is you couldn't have predicted beforehand or premeditated what would happen if you did a particular move. So I often, to problem solve, I also take the work into different environments. So when I'm testing a work, I will go into different sites, and I will often just use, these days I'll just use my iPhone to test something to see if it's got some kind of validity. I'll also do a lot of work in Photoshop, mocking up solutions, and that's a good way for me to test whether it's going to work or not. And that's lucky, because before I became an artist, I was a designer. I was trained to be a landscape architect. So there's a lot of great skills that I learnt in that context that I've been able to apply. So I do a lot of drawings as well. I'll do to scale drawings of systems for installing the work and seeing how it works, because in the end, how a person comes and views a work is really integral to the meaning of the work. Making an artwork, whilst you may have the authorship, sometimes it takes a village to make an artwork, and you're really using other people as sounding boards as well about what works, what doesn't work. The kind of community that you build around you, work, family, other artists, are really critical to that process.